The lifelong pursuit to lead and to be a leader in whatever field you are in was really the main theme of this conference. And the lifelong pursuit of happiness to me means fulfilling a life of honor and doing what you love. Be the person to start that ripple effect for those around you and truly just lead with honor. I think pressure is a huge thing when leading a group, but something we talked about at the conference a lot was that pressure is a privilege. Pressure to do your best, to be your best for all of those around you. Responsibility in all of these areas is truly a privilege, and it means that people believe in you. Personally, finding my why has been challenging, both here at Wake Forest, but extremely exciting. This conference was so powerful in its ability to touch on so many of those different conversations of finding your why and sharing your why with those around you. Don't be afraid to ask for help in this journey of finding your purpose. I think a lot of times we think that is a vulnerable piece, but it's truly a sign of strength. All of these strong-minded people, men and women serving our country, they have weaknesses and they're not afraid to show them, and that's what makes them the best leaders. He said that building a great team requires the understanding that the diversity within that team is not just like a nice word to be diverse, but it's actually an extremely powerful tool. Once you see the people that you're leading and see what they can bring to the team, and that all of those different things for each person are different, unique characteristics, that's the moment where you're truly inspiring the team to work together. I think that if you recognize the differences within your group are unique strengths, you really have a solid foundation for anything that you have to try to accomplish. He said something that really stuck with me is that good leaders hope the team will move on, but great leaders know that they'll all move on. They will all accomplish what they need. He said to invest in your people, invest in their lives, invest in their families. And this is just not when it comes to the military or it comes to serving the United States. This comes in any organization, in any sports team, anything you find yourself in. Invest in the people around you and it will pay off. One person said, you have 2 ears and only 1 mouth for a reason. So use the ears to listen and seek to understand more than you seek to be heard. You know, the Vice Admiral Green noted that in his keynote address, he said that the United States of America is by no means perfect, and it has its flaws, but we have free people, free enterprise, and free minds. And he asked us at the end to just go forth and earn your star on that American flag. Be that person that you want to be because you truly control your own destiny.
My first takeaway is the quote, "Blessed are those who plant trees under whose shade they will never sit." Often when we lead, we might be in a hurry trying to find results, when in reality, we as leaders need to have the mindset of planting seeds in people and leaving an impact rather than finding immediate results. My second takeaway is how we can show humility through genuine curiosity. When we are working with teams and we're in leadership positions, we can show humility when we ask people about their background, from where they come, about their families. Of course, with some respect, this would show a genuine curiosity and therefore being or showing humility. My third takeaway is how we can give ourselves grace, and through grace we can find resilience. My fourth point is holding people accountable. Often when we're in a leadership position, we are faced with the dilemma of showing care, but at the same time holding our people accountable. And through the leadership conference, I understood how we can still show care, but still hold people accountable to their work and being respectful. When we work in a leadership positions in organizations, it is very different when an individual works in the military. People in the military don't have a choice to delegate work that contradicts with their values or ethics. They're only faced with the one answer, which is yes, they need to execute their work. But on the other side, as civilians, we have the choice to say no when things contradicts with our personal values. And therefore, it gave me a sense of respect to people in the military when they're forced to take decisions that does not align with their values, and at the same time be thankful to my positions or to the leadership positions that I'm put in, and show respect to everyone around me, and to align my values with the values of the organization as much as I can.
Specifically, what I took from the conference was an analogy of comparing culture to baking a cake, which was given by Todd Simmons. And he described culture as compiling of a ton of ingredients, and you could just taste when the cake is off, and one ingredient like trust is missing. And that really resonated with me because culture implies so much of human connections, and it's hard to kind of pinpoint what that really means or how to develop that, but it's more of a gut feeling. But ultimately, if you put in genuine care, concern, interest in the individual and for their own well-being and their own process in the context also as a whole of society, so interest in them and investment and being actionable and reaching out to people and making sure that they feel heard, that, just like baking a cake, if you put in that love, will result in a great outcome. Culture is about serving other people so that they can thrive the best themselves, and then give back to that culture and be stewards and become servant and transformational leaders who can then help others in their own journey to be able to thrive in the future. And so I think moving forward, really focusing on those human connections, making sure people are heard and they know that, and they feel confident in themselves and the community so that they have the energy to be able to give back to that culture that will just continue to burn and develop on itself.
It really opened up my eyes to so many different things. In terms of leadership, people think it as kind of just, oh, you're in charge, you this and that, and I feel like leadership is much more of a selfless act. One of the biggest things I learned was it's kind of like creating a fertile environment. Like you're a gardener, you kind of lead people to where they want to go. You kind of make them the best they could be. One quote we had from one of our speakers, they explained how leadership is sort of getting the greatest part of your people out into the world and having them achieve that success. So I feel like it's a very selfless act, which is really great. Another one of my favorite things was actually the training that we did with the cadets. I know it may seem kind of crazy, but one morning we woke up at around 5:15 to go on a 1.5-mile hike to Fort Putnam. So it's an old Revolutionary War fort in 1778, and it may seem kind of crazy going on a run that early, but I realized kind of like the team aspect that they wanted us to have and that the cadets have. Everyone kind of ran in unison, and actually one thing that happened, someone fell down and tripped, and immediately everyone just stopped and they made sure she was okay, they cleaned her up, and then they kept running with her and kept being by her side. Truly that no man left behind mentality, which I want to take into where I lead, whether that be in the Army or just in classes or in groups. Truly no man left behind. Another great thing that I learned was go everywhere with a mirror and a map. So for example, a mirror shows you who you are and who you've been, and a map shows you where you're going. Not just a physical thing, but also in depth, like who are the people there, what are the culture like, what are their ideas. So if you go everywhere with a mirror and a map, you also know yourself, but you know the people that you're with. You're able to better understand them and learn from them. Another great thing is psychological safety that I learned. Truly that everyone has different opinions, different ideas, different cultures. No person is the same. And being able to kind of see where they came from and hearing everyone's ideas is definitely a great thing. You can't just stick to one idea. If you can get everyone's idea, you can definitely get one of the greatest ideas made, which is definitely really great. And all the speakers kind of had a similar thing. In addition, another one of my favorite events was, I would say, the obstacle course as well, because you were able to kind of push yourself. Because at one point, you got to a point where like, I can't do this, I don't do obstacle course, want to go and run, things like that. But seeing your fellow teammates and your fellow students, kids who also didn't do that before, kind of push you to be the greatest you could be. You kind of found something inside of yourself. And also tying that into leadership, you also got to find that in yourself and also push other people to learn. So like I said, whether that be in clubs, organizations, classes, in a U.S. Army obstacle course, that also works. But finding what's deep inside you helps you keep going, keep pushing, and be the best person you can be. Secretary Bob McDonald was the 8th Secretary of Veterans Affairs and the CEO of Procter & Gamble, so a very successful individual. And he always said that we never stop learning. So our learning doesn't stop when we finish college, when we finish any education. You always have to keep learning. One great thing that I heard is the world moves. If we stand still, we're going to move backwards. So we always have to keep learning, keep doing, keep reading. So it's really great to hear that these people who are so successful, who work for NASA, work for Procter & Gamble, who are these great professors, the CEO of NASDAQ was there. They're really accomplished individuals, but their biggest thing is they always keep learning. Even Secretary Bob McDonald said, I have homework to do, I have to read this book, this and that. So our learning never stops. If we can keep learning, keep growing, keep becoming a better individual, and also a better leader for many other people as well. So like I said, I'd like to finish up as leadership is a selfless act that I really never realized. You put people before yourself. You kind of lead everyone to be the best they could be, and in terms of be a best organization.